Again, I kind of look at it from a different perspective than most people. I look at it as a former promoter and understanding that the choke point when you are a promoter comes down to two things: one, content, and two, distribution. Now, in some people, it's financing, but this company's always been very well financed.
Right.
But you have the monster of content to feed, and then you have the content, and then you have the monster of distribution to find. So what Vince did was brilliant. He self-distributed because he realized that any distribution that he has, the distributors are going to take the money, which was his beef with pay-per-view to begin with. So now he self-distributes. It's all his. It's all the shareholders. It's all for the company. And it was the right move to make. I also got to say, I think it was the only real move for him to make.
Right.
Because had he gone the route of buying a smaller cable network to expand it, like what Oprah did, Oprah went $300 million in.
Right.
You're gambling the entire store that way. If this network were to go completely wrong for him, he has an escape valve. He doesn't have to lose the company on it. The other ways, you're gambling the whole farm.
Right.
Or the ranch, whichever the case.
Let's go to the ranch. Okay, back in the day, before even you and I started hanging around together, when you started managing me, you had the big ass cell phone. Did you ever think that the business would evolve to what it has today? Just as far as the technology, the WWE network with WrestleMania being this big, because we were living the times of our life, and we still are, but you're still in the business. It was such a grassroots affair back then, and with all the technology, with all the production values, it just keeps increasing and it keeps changing. The product has changed inside the ring.
Well, again, I think that has to do with the distribution channels that are out there. I mean, could we have envisioned where technology would be today? Back then, we're talking about now, you and I worked together in 1991 and 1992. So back then, again, it was the age of big ass cell phones. It was the age of mimeographs. You put a cassette into a tape player in a car. Now, if I were to turn to my kids today and go, "Hey, put the tape in," they're going to look at me like, "Okay, Daddy's really old and he's talking about back in his day."
Yeah.
So, it's all about distribution channels. We live in a global village to where right now, whatever's happening in Sydney, Australia, or Johannesburg, or Tel Aviv, or Athens, or London, or Paris, or Rome, you can see on your FaceTime. You can FaceTime with your family right now. So when you're on the road back then, you have to pull over to payphone. You had to call from a cell phone, which is expensive. You had to wait to get your hotel room and call your family. I can be right now completely around the world. I can be in Antarctica and I can FaceTime with my children.
Right.
It's distribution. And Vince went with the distribution channels that was out there. And if he didn't, someone else would have.